So today I'm going to talk about the revision on MCQ. So if you have any questions, you can stop and ask me that, right? All right. So semester one exam will be on January 2026. So January 2026, you will have the online exam. This will be 90-minute online exam with 12 MCQs and one short questions. And once you start the exam, you need to finish it within 90 minutes. But there will be 10 minutes for the extra time for your submissions. So I'm explaining the about the MCQ. So if you have any question, you can ask me that. So there are two sections. The first section is the multiple choice question MCQ sections, 40 marks. So you need to solve 12 questions. So basically I write 36 questions. So you're gonna get 12 from this 36 question randomly. And there will be one short question, 60 marks. And you need to choose one short question out of two. So I'm going to provide more information on this part on December 18, the next revision class. Today I'm going to focus on this MCQ part. By the way, I'm going to provide a mock exams around the December 18th. So the exam format, the mock exam format will be exactly same as the actual exam format. So I recommend you taking this mock exams several times to familiarize yourself with the exam format. Okay. Any questions up to this point? January exams, two sections, the format, you can exercise that with this mock exam later on. So how to prepare for MCQ? All questions are based on part one material. So what are the part one materials? It's a topics 1, 2, 3. The last topic is going to be topic 3.2, real interest rate parity. We're going to talk about this Thursday. So the lecture slide and practice questions on topic 1 to 3. And you need to solve the two past exam questions, section A of 2020 exam questions and 2023 January exam questions. These are on the canvas, and I'm going to solve this one 2 weeks later in these sessions. So I'm going to solve this one later on. And also you need to know how to solve mock exams. I'm going to give you later on. Now, what kind of question you expect on MCQ? Most MCQ questions, at least 70%, are going to be numerical and will be based on the practice questions and 2020 and 2023 January exam questions. So if you are able to solve all practice questions, 2020 and 2023 January exams, you will be 70% fine. Okay, and no, you don't have to worry about any derivation questions. So you can find many derivation in my slide. You just need to know the final formula, and you need to just know how to use that formula. So there will be no derivation questions. Everything is numerical one and descriptive one. Since several students join these sessions, I'm going to revisit this one briefly. So there will be an online exam on January 2026. It will be 90-minute exams, and you will have 10-minute extra time for your online submissions. And there will be two sections, MCQ sections, short question sections. So MCQ section, you need to solve 12 questions, randomly chosen out of 36 questions. For the short questions, you're going to choose one out of two. I will provide more information on this on December 18th. And you may worry about what would be the exam format. So I'm going to provide a mock exam with the same format as the actual exam on Canvas around December 18th. So I recommend you to exercise taking this mock exam several times to familiarize yourself with the exam format. And I'm trying to explain what you expect from 12 MCQ questions. I just explained. All MCQ questions are based on part 1 material, which means topic 1 to 3. The last one is the topic 3.2. I'm going to talk about this Thursday. And these are important things. The most exam questions, MCQ questions, will be based on the practice questions and 2020 and 2023 January exams. 2020 and 2023 January exam questions, these are posted on Canvas. I'm going to solve this one 2 weeks later in this session, online sessions. There will be no derivation questions. Now, the part of the MCQ question may be unseen before, and based on some lecture slide. Now, I can say that last year, the average mark last year MCQ was the 50 mark session. So average was something like 40. So 40 out of 50. So now you can see that the MCQ section is not that difficult. So only 5 to 10 marks are based on some unseen material. Anyway, each MCQ will have 4 possible choices with sufficiently distinct number. So you need to choose one correct answer with the closest numbers for the numerical one. So I'm going to provide you how I can transform practice questions into the numerical MCQ questions you expect to see in the exam. So this MCQ question, numerical 1, is based on the question 5 of the Baker-Hardwick chapter 2, which is in the practice question 1. So practice question 1, ask this one. Deutsche Bank quote bid ask rate of the EUR USD. So this is the EUR USD. Bid rate, ask rate. Always ask rate is higher than bid rate. And this is the USD JPY. USD is in the denominator, JPY is in the numerator. The first one is the bid rate, the next one is the ask rate. So given these two informations, practice question 1, question 5 ask you to compute the bid and ask price of yen per euro. So yen per euro means EUR, JPY, bid and ask. Bid and ask. This is the question 5. Now, if you are able to solve this one, I can transform this one into the numerical one like this. So given EUR USD, given USD JPY, what is the bid ask price? Well, just I can write transform like this, right? So how do we get this one? Triangular things, EUR USD times USD JPY, right? So because you can cancel these two, you get EUR JPY. So we learned this one before, right? Two student left. Anyway, so how do we get this one? So beta of this one is the beta of this one times beta of this one. S of EUR JPY is the S of EUR USD times S of USD JPY. So if you are able to solve this one, you can easily compute this guy. This guy is the multiplication of this one and this one. And this one you can easily get by multiplying this one by this one. Bid times bid gives you bid, ask times ask give you ask. So I can give you this straightforward the form of the numerical question based on the practice questions, or I can slightly change the question to ask you to compute bid ask spread. So if you are able to compute bid rate and ask rate, the bid ask spread is just the ask minus bid, right? So in terms of basis point, 0.0001 is the 1 basis point. So if you subtract bid from ask, you're gonna get 0.1509. So this basis point. Or I may slightly change the question like this. Instead of giving you the EUR USD, I can give you USD EUR. So I just change, instead of giving you this one, I gave you BDS of the USD UR. Then what you need to know, you need to first convert BDNS of the USD UR into BDNS of EUR USD using reciprocal thing, right? BD of USD EUR is equal to 1 divided by ask of EUR USD. These kind of things. Well, if you're not sure about what I'm talking about now, you have to take a look at all the review slide I gave you. If you go to our course web page on Canvas, every week I provide you the review slide on the previous week's material. You can find these kind of key point in that review slide. So when you prepare for the MCQ part, I recommend you to first take a look at this review slide. Make sure you know everything in that review slide up to topic 3. And then based on that knowledge, try to solve practice questions and 2020, 2023, the past exam questions several times. So at the end of the day, you don't have to look at the review slide to solve these questions. So you have to memorize those. Well, because you don't have much time to look at the review slide during the exam period. But anyway, so that was an example of numerical MCQ questions. Now, 20 or 30% of exam question could be looking like this, descriptive MCQ questions. So I'm going to give you descriptive MCQ example. Here, I'm combining question 2 of topic 2.3, which I'm going to talk about today, and then question 6 of topic 3, so the next week material. So this question is combination of these two. So let me read this. Kim Deal, a London-based investor, need to invest for 1 year and observe 1 year pound interest rate, 1 year dollar interest rate. Suppose both deposit are default-free, deposit interest rate are same as the loan interest rate, so bid rate and ask rate are same. And finally, this is important, the 1 year pound interest rate is higher than 1 year dollar interest rate. And we assume the real interest rate parity hold. So I'm going to just give you the answer for this one. What is the meaning of real interest rate parity? We're going to talk about this one this Thursday. But anyway, when we assume real interest rate parity hold, it just means UIP hold, CIP hold, and version of PPP hold, plus something else. So whenever you see we assume the real interest rate parity hold, it's the same as UIP hold, CIP hold, a version of PPP hold, plus something else I'm going to talk about this Thursday. So this one is very important. Which of the following is incorrect? Kim Deal claim, given UIP, CIP, PPP, Kim Deal says pound is expected to appreciate relative to dollar. Now, pound interest rate is higher than dollar interest rate, which means the pound has a higher interest rate. So pound is higher interest rate currency. This is high interest rate currency. This is low interest rate currency. If you recall UIP, we learned about this one. High interest rate currency is expected to depreciate. So you need to go back to review slide to check this if you're not sure about this one now. So if UIP hold, if UIP is true, high interest rate currency pound is expected to depreciate. So this is incorrect. Okay. Now the third one, this is CIP. High interest rate currency should have forward discount. So pound should have forward discount. So pound has higher interest rate, and dollar has a forward premium. So this is correct one. So C is based on CIP. A is based on UIP, so we know A is incorrect. B, ex ante real interest rate is same is in US and UK. This is just definition of real interest rate parity. We're going to talk about this Thursday. And finally, Kim did claim the expected inflation in US is lower than the expected inflation in UK. Just I'm gonna give you the what is the meaning of this one. That this is so-called fiscal relations. We're gonna talk about this Thursday. So what I'm trying to say here is the A and C are based on question 2 of topic 2.3 and B and D are based on the question 6 of topic 3. So just like this, I can combine two practice questions as one MCQ questions and I can give you these kind of questions, right? And I can slightly change the transform this one in the this format. It's basically asking same questions. So same informations up to this point. Real interest rate parity hold, which means UIP hold, CIP hold, a version of PPP hold, right? Then Kim Deal claimed something is expect to something relative to something. So this is actually same as the first one. It's about UIP. High interest rate currency pound, 10% and 5%. So pound has a higher interest rate. Higher interest rate currency pound is expected to depreciate relative to low interest rate currency dollar. How much? If you go back to the review slide, you will find the interest rate differential. So the in the left-hand side, you see expected changes in exchange rate. In the right-hand side, you will see interest rate differential. So interest rate differential is the high minus low. So it's approximately 5%. So these are two different form of MCQ you could see in the exam. All right. Any questions up to this point? You can just ask me a question or you can use the chatting window to ask me anything. So MCQ, like I told you, the average mark was like a 40 out of 50. So you don't see any big surprise. So this year, I just allocate 40 marks to MCQ1. If you want to get more than 30 out of 40, I recommend to repeatedly attempting to solve practice questions, 2020 and 2023 exam questions, and also finally, you need to know how to solve mock exam questions. But basically, mock exam questions are based on practice question and this past exam questions. So you know what I mean? You need to do the attempt to solve this one several times until you become very comfortable. What I mean by very comfortable is if you study review slide, if you know all the key point there, and if I just give you practice questions as an exercise, you should be able to solve it without even looking at review slide, or you need to know where to look at the key point for that practice questions. Right away, you have to find the key point in the review slide and apply that key point right away to solve any question based on the practice question or 2023 questions. So time management is important. You need to finish MCQ, well, almost around 45, I think. The other 45 minutes or 90-minute exam questions, the other 45 minutes you should use that time to answer these short questions. Uh, any questions?